Time now for our series, Changing the Game, highlighting extraordinary women who are making a difference now and for future generations. This morning, we celebrate Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month by introducing you to Elenor Mak, founder of Jilly Bing, the company behind the Jilly doll. Jilly is an Asian American doll created because Mak wanted to give her daughter a doll that looks like her, but she couldn't find one anywhere. The Jilly doll launched last summer, and it sold out, folks, within weeks.
Wow. I believe it.
Yes, it is now available online, and big news, in Macy's and Toys R Us stores, meaning it's going national.
That's great.
Elenor Mak, good morning.
And bravo.
And bravo, that's right.
Bravo.
Thank you.
So I just want people to know that this doll, I became aware of this doll when Matt Suss, one of our crew here, and his wife, Ji Yoon, gave my daughter Celine a Jilly Bing, and I'd never seen anything like it before, and I had to get to the bottom of it, and I contacted you. Tell me.
I know, Vlad, you had to get to the bottom.
I had to get to the bottom of where did Jilly Bing come from? And there's I have a picture of my daughter Celine enjoying Jilly Bing because it was such, look at this. I mean, she loved it. So this doll was inspired by your own search for a doll that looked like your daughter. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so growing up, I never had a doll that looked like me. And I think it made me feel like something was wrong with me and my features. And I think to me, a doll is so much more than just a toy. It's a child's first friend. It's how a child starts to make sense of the world around them. I still remember my first doll, Ada.
What did she look like?
She was beautiful. And even then, and I knew she was beautiful in a way I felt like I never could be. She had blonde hair, blue eyes, and I adored her. That's me with my little doll, Ada. Both my parents worked, and I was an only child, so Ada was like my only friend for a very long time.
So even then, Elenor, you felt I could never look like this, or I'm not pretty.
Beautiful in a way I never could be. So fast forward some 40 years, I'm a mom. My little girl, Jillian, was then 2.5 years old and started to play with dolls. And so I figured I would buy one that looked like her. And I was just shocked that I still couldn't find a single doll that I thought looked remotely like any Asian child I know.
Wow.
And when you find them, did you feel that they were filled with you said you didn't want your doll to be stereotyped. What does that mean?
Yeah, so I think it's, so when I went into the doll aisles 2 years ago, I just thought it was crazy that, Asian Americans, despite being almost 10% of this country's population, were largely invisible or reduced to really bad stereotypes in the doll aisles.
Like what? Like
a panda bear, a really bad haircut, the elongated eyes. And I just think our children deserve a better storyline. And it almost felt like this $40 billion toy industry had not evolved since I was a little girl.
Wow. Well, you've made it evolve now.
Yes.
I mean, selling out in weeks. You're now going to be in big retailers nationwide. When you took pen to paper to design what Jilly doll would look like, how did you come up with what you came up with? Because it's beautiful. Yeah,
so like any good parent now, the first thing I did was I went on Google and I said, how do you make a doll? And that was the start of Jilly Bing. And I really feel like Jilly Bing, we can change the narrative for the next generation. We can let our little kids know from a really young, pivotal age that they belong, that they're not the other, this sort of feeling the sky's the limit for our children. So I would say there was like 3 things that we really focused on. One was the features, so that Jilly was authentically Asian. I was obsessed with the eyes. At some point in my basement, we had rows and rows of children's eyes, photos zoomed in, angled. Because growing up, that's what I was made fun of, right? My Asian eyes. And I wanted our children to see a doll with beautiful eyes like theirs.
Elenor, you're going to make me cry. That's
I'm so touched by this. And I know your daughter's name is Jillian, so I'm assuming Jilly's named after her.
What was her reaction when she saw the doll?
Oh, her and other kids. I mean...
how old was she when she saw her?
She was around 3.5. She was just delighted to see a doll that looks like her.
Is that her? Oh, there she is.
That is her.
Oh, that is her looking at Jilly.
Like so many children, she gasped in delight. This doll looks like me.
Oh,
my gosh.
It's beautiful. You make a point that maybe men as boys really can't identify with, is that when you have your first doll, it sets the standard for self-acceptance. How important is it not just for young girls to have these dolls, but the parents to see these girls play with these dolls?
Yeah, and I think, Jilly Bing is my company, but it's been really something that my mom passed on to me. And the reason I say that was my mom was an immigrant. She's a strong woman. She immigrated here from Asia 40 years ago, and she lost her voice. She felt like she lost her voice because she couldn't speak the language. And so she made me be her voice. And I still remember this time when I was in the 1st or 2nd grade. She felt like she didn't get the right change from the cashier at the supermarket. And she made me, this little girl, go up to the adult to speak up for her.
Wow.
And now as a mom, I realized she gave me a voice. She taught me I have a voice. And I hope that with our Jilly dolls, we're
Your story
passing
gets better and
gets
better.
really good.
I hope there are more Jilly dolls to come
Yeah.
in your collection.
We are just getting started.
Bravo,
I hope
good.
to
That's
create a line of
wonderful.
dolls.
Elenor, such a compelling story. You are changing. You have changed the game.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. This is just the beginning.
Just the beginning. We'll be right back.
Cheering you on.